Concept of contrast and the symbols of the coin, swing and pendulum. One of the principal concepts used in creation is that of contrast. John Constantinos, Adventures into the Unconscious. Without its opposite, nothing has meaning. What would white be without black? Light without darkness? Health without disease? In the Bible, you will find as part of Genesis the creation of night and day. This does not mean the literal creation. It means that very early on in creation, contrast was established as a key principle. There are thus contrasts, balancing properties, but these are neither good nor bad, they just are. Alain Danielou, While the Gods Play. The importance of the darshanas rests in their contrasts. The transcendent or divine reality of the world is defined as that in which opposites coexist. Contrast is not negation. Contrast is not the same as negation. Thus the contrast of love is not no love, a negation, but its opposite, hate. The contrast of tall is not tall, but short. The contrast of young is not young, but old. It is recognized that there may be any number of intermediary states in the single spectrum of black and white, for example, but what is being examined is the extreme limits of this spectrum. In effect, how far can the pendulum swing in both directions? Why is contrast so important? In order for us to operate within the world, we need contrast. Any living being cannot appreciate, for example, what pleasure is unless it has experienced pain. It cannot know happiness unless it has known sadness. It will not know cold unless it has experienced hot. Contrast provides the mechanism of perception, and it is key to our survival. Chuang Tzu, the pivot. Tao is obscured when men understand only one of a pair of opposites, or concentrate only on a partial aspect of being. There is nothing that cannot be seen from the standpoint of the not I, and there is nothing which cannot be seen from the standpoint of the I. If I begin by looking at anything from the viewpoint of the not I, then I do not really see it, since it is not I that sees it. If I begin from where I am and see it as I see it, then it may also become possible for me to see it as another sees it. Hence, the theory of reversal, that opposites produce each other, depend on each other, and complement each other. Of positive and negative, yin and yang. One of the ways contrast can be viewed is as though the two are like the poles of a battery, positive and negative. John Konstantinos, Adventure into the Unconscious. Broadly speaking, the purely rational visible aspect of things presented to my conscious mind was positive, like the Chinese concept of yang. Conversely, the negative aspect was irrational and intuitive, darkly chaotic, and associated with yin, the opposite of yang. Two sides of a coin, heads and tails. Another symbol used to represent the two extremes in any contrasting quality or attribute is the coin or medal, heads and tails. From where we get the idea of the toss of the coin deciding an outcome, one extreme or another. Let fate decide. John Konstantinos, Adventure into the Unconscious. Numerous analogies become apparent. The Apollonian and Dionysian principles, but the closest analogy of all is with the ideas of Jung, who uses the reverse aspect of things, the other side of the medal or coin, which in the modern world we almost invariably try to repress or reject. Contrast and its use in the great work. Perhaps one of the most intriguing uses for contrast has been to guide those key to the successful outcome of the plans in the great work. Festus 1. Philip James Bailey. Evil, o'erruled to good, transmute to use, most fit, whereby to administer the world spiritual. One of the very principal contrasting pairs is that of pleasure and pain. And it would seem that since pleasure tends to produce a state of laziness whereby the person does not do what they should be doing, pain is used, much as the harlequin might whack Punch with a stick to keep him working. That's the way to do it. Contrast, good and evil. Both good and evil are subjective. What is good for one thing may be bad for another. If I catch, kill and eat a fish, the fish will undoubtedly consider this bad from its point of view. But as I may be hungry, in my view killing the fish was good, because having eaten it, I will no more be hungry. Thus, although good and bad or evil undoubtedly exist and are contrasting opposites, they are really related to the experience of pain and pleasure. We cannot call them absolutes. After all, there is nothing inherently bad about a virus, but we think there is, because they can cause us illness and death, pain. And there is nothing inherently good about a chocolate and marshmallow cream sundae, but we think there is, because the taste gives us pleasure. Robert Frost. From the poetry of Robert Frost. Never have I been sad or glad that there was such a thing as bad. There had to be, I understood, for there to have been any good. It was by having been contrasted that good and bad so long had lasted. That's why discrimination reigns. That's why we need a lot of brains, if only to discriminate. The swinging of the pendulum. Finally, it is the tug of war between the contrasting attributes that drives evolution and change. And Philosophical Inquiries, F.W.J. Schelling. Whoever has no material or force for evil in himself is also impotent for good.